The time is 10 a.m. and this is WKYT Midmorning. Ending senseless violence. That was Olympic sprinter Tyson Gay's message as he spoke before hundreds who gathered to honor his daughter Trinity.
It's unclear how long a Central Kentucky plant will remain shut down following yet another deadly workplace accident.
And a Lexington-based restaurant is going on a hiring spree today. Details on how you can apply just ahead.
This is WKYT Midmorning.
Good morning to you and welcome. It sure is good to have you on WKYT at Midmorning. What beautiful colors we have out there on this warm day.
A beautiful day, but what a strange week of weather. You know, warm now, really warm.
Here's the deal. We know it's going to be that way. I mean, so far, you're right, it's been really, really nice, but we know those changes are coming. Let's check in with Micah. Potentially a record high today.
Yeah, it's potential. I mean, it's going to be there. Mid-80s expected with those breezy conditions. We'll get close to at least tying that record. We'll see if we'll actually tie it, break it, or actually come up short. Later on this afternoon, the record being at 87 degrees. It is already 75 here in Lexington, 75 in Frankfort, and 73 down in Whitley County. By the afternoon, like I said, mid-80s, that's the average that we're putting out there for all of the viewing area, which means could be some locations 87, 88, possibly. We'll see. We hit 85 yesterday, and that's the focus of the forecast. We're going to go over that in towards your weekend coming up.
In the news at Midmorning, Olympic sprinter and Kentucky native Tyson Gay is calling for an end to senseless violence in the wake of his daughter Trinity's death.
Trinity Gay died Sunday after being shot outside a Lexington restaurant. Last night, a vigil was held for the 15-year-old at the Lafayette High School track. Hundreds attended the vigil wearing either pink or purple, Trinity's favorite colors. Tyson Gay spoke to the crowd and asked everyone to continue praying for his family.
Doesn't stop here, doesn't stop after the balloons. I appreciate all the support, but I need you guys to keep it going. I don't want to read in the paper next week another senseless killing. It has to stop.
Friends and teammates have now created a memorial for Trinity right outside Lafayette's track. Dozens of pairs of track shoes have since been hung from the fence, many with messages to Trinity written on them.
And Trinity Gay also has family out in western Kentucky, and her great aunt, Wendy Hardiman Bell, lives in Russellville. Wendy's daughter, Lexus Bell, was shot and killed back in August. And like Tyson Gay, Wendy says she too is calling for an end to senseless violence.
The violence needs to stop. Guns don't make you nobody. Packing a gun don't make you nobody. Drugs, fast money don't make you. Go get an education. That'll make you.
The three men charged in connection to the shooting have all pleaded not guilty. DeMarquio Taylor, his father Shazare Taylor, and Devonta Middlebrooks are charged with wanton endangerment. Court records show that Elder Taylor is currently on a pretrial diversion for a drug trafficking indictment, and Middlebrooks is a convicted felon. Investigators say all three men admitted firing shots outside Cookout Restaurant on South Broadway. They believe Trinity was caught in the crossfire. At this time, Lexington police say they're not looking for any more suspects in connection to Trinity's death.
A Franklin County plant is closed today after two deadly workplace accidents in the last week. Montaplast is an auto parts supplier in Frankfort. A company spokesman says a man died there yesterday from an electrical shock. The coroner says O'Shea was actually at Montaplast at the time. That is OSHA, of course, the inspectors. The federal agency was investigating the death of a woman that the company says was injured while working with a crane. We reached out to Montaplast to find out how long its voluntary shutdown will last. We have not heard back from them yet. It's not the way a Lexington woman wanted to wake up. She says a man broke into her apartment while she was asleep. It happened about 2:30 this morning at Park Place Apartments. That's at Tates Creek and Man o' War. Police say the woman chased the burglar off without any injuries. But the suspect did get away with some of her belongings.
Today, a Laurel County man who admitted to killing his stepdad will be back in court. John Stricker is charged with murder. He says he shot Donnie Stone 5 times and claims the military ordered him to do so. Family members have told WKYT Stricker suffers from mental illness. His preliminary hearing is scheduled for 11 this morning. Some southern Kentucky businesses are being warned about phony money. The Whitley County Sheriff's Office says counterfeit $100 bills like these have been used in Corbin. Police say even markers designed to spot fake bills didn't detect the fake money. They say someone even used the fake cash at the sheriff's office.
Very unusual story here at Mid-Morning. A Fort Campbell soldier was killed after he was stung by wasps and then walked out into traffic. Investigators have told the Tennessean that the 21-year-old was under the influence after leaving a party. And in his confused state, they say he broke into a landscaping company and put his hand right into a wasp nest. That's when police say the soldier called 911 and said he was being chased. About 15 minutes later, police got a call that a pedestrian had been hit.
There's a $10,000 reward for information in a Perry County arson case. The U.S. Postal Inspection Service says the reward is for information leading to an arrest and conviction of the people who set the Yerkes post office on fire. Surveillance video shows a man light something on fire and throw it at the building. Well, two teens came to the rescue when they found themselves in a life or death situation.
Incredible story here.
And I look up and there are flames shooting out from the engine compartment. And so I'm freaking out, but I had to keep my cool.
Brad Blevins and Bradley Miller were driving in Greenup County when a speeding car tried to pass them. That car crashed into a tree and caught on fire. The teens quickly realized the two people in that car were classmates. The driver was thrown from the car, but Brandon York was trapped inside.
I heard Brad yell, "We need to get him out." Next thing I know, there's people pulling on me.
I was standing here kind of pushing on his shoulders and his head and trying to get his boots off because they're melted under the, you can still see his boots where they melted to the car. And Brad was pulling him with all of his might.
The teens were finally able to pull him out just moments before that car exploded. The two students injured in the crash are recovering, and by the way, they're already now back at school, so that's good.
Boy, a lot of courage and quick thinking there.
It all worked out, huh? A union leader says contract talks will resume today as workers remain on strike at two Jim Beam facilities in Kentucky, a whiskey strike.
The workers say they're being overworked and want the company to hire more people to keep up with production demands. About 250 workers at Beam distilleries in Claremont and Boston walked off from their jobs Saturday. There's been no comment yet from the company. Well, a Franklin County judge has ordered Governor Bevin to release nearly $18 million to state colleges and universities. The judge said the governor must release the money by Thursday. Earlier this year, the governor cut 2% from the budgets of colleges and universities without the state legislature's approval. Attorney General Andy Beshear then sued, saying the cuts were illegal. The state Supreme Court later ruled in Beshear's favor.
Kentucky Secretary of State Allison Lundergan Grimes is leading an election integrity task force meeting today. It'll start shortly. The meeting comes before the November 8th general election. Kentucky voters will be casting ballots for president, for the U.S. Senate in Kentucky, and for the U.S. House of Representatives. Ballots will also be cast for 100 seats in the Kentucky House of Representatives and half the seats in the Kentucky Senate, as well as one seat on the Kentucky Supreme Court. There are some local elections as well in cities. The meeting will begin at 11 o'clock in Frankfort. Lexington-based Fazoli's is planning to hire hundreds of new employees today.
It's part of the Italian restaurant chain's National Signing Day. It will be held at more than 100 of its restaurants. Now, if you're interested, you can apply for jobs, interview, and possibly even be hired on the spot. All 7 Fazoli's restaurants in Lexington will be taking part. You can apply for jobs between 11 and 6 today.
All right, so again, that's starting very shortly here in a little while.
We'll keep it right here this mid-morning.
Yeah, I hope you'll stay along. Coming up, The Price is Right makes history as the game show's colorful big wheel celebrates a milestone. Find out how. It's coming up after Micah's forecast.
A lot of sunshine out there right now, heating us up very rapidly, and so we're talking about these really warm temperatures today, but then a big front that's going to really wipe out this weather pattern. I'll show you that coming up next.
Now, your zone-by-zone forecast with meteorologist Micah Harris.
It's Pretty good look outside with a mixture of sun and clouds. It's going to be exactly like what we saw yesterday is what we're going to be seeing today. Not only that, but those temperatures continue to rise each and every single day. They're not stopping outside right now. I promise you that. We get into your afternoon. We're at 75 degrees right now in Frankfort and Lexington. When we started off this morning, when sun actually came above the horizon, we were at 71 in Frankfort. Here in the next update, more than likely we're going to be in the upper 70s, lower 80s for those zones, central and back toward the west. But then you look southbound, we're there in the lower 70s, some mid 70s. All in all, it is a much different feel outside early this morning than the past few mornings. So let's go hour by hour. Let me take you in towards your afternoon and what you can expect. We will be there in the low to mid 80s when it's all said and done. Now, some of us could get that 86, 87 degree reading, maybe topping out at 88 degrees. We'll see. If we do top out at 88, we will have broken a record here in Lexington, a 78-year-old record, because the record's at 87. So do we actually reach that? Well, these models have a hard time actually putting out the right numbers when you have very strong winds coming in from the south and southwest. That's just what they do. That's their tendencies. And just being around here for the past 4 years, you learn the tendencies from these weather models at certain times of year, and they just have a hard time with that. That will usher in some more moisture, a little bit warmer air, and that'll give us the opportunity for some rain later on the next couple of days. I would say Wednesday it's more of northern Kentucky, but then you head off toward your Thursday. It's pretty widespread on Thursday. This is more of deep into the day. Morning and afternoon, I would say 30–40% chance of rain. But once you hit evening and night, that's when the bulk of the rain slides on in. And not just that, but with this front, it's a pretty powerful cold front. With this front, that could give us the isolated chance, hit a strong, potentially severe storm. Damaging winds will be the main player out of that. It's very low, but it's still there. We haven't had to talk about that in quite some time. I'd say about a ½ inch to 1.5 inches of rain out of this system as it barrels on through. So that's on Thursday. Let's get into your Friday. Well, Friday morning looks like the eastern portions of our viewing area will have some rain. Then it pushes on out. So Friday night football doesn't look too bad. I believe the rain's going to be moved on out for most everybody. But boy, is it going to be very chilly there for Friday night football. Got to keep that in mind because our high on Friday only reaches 55 degrees. That means by 8 p.m., 7:30, 8 p.m. when we have kickoff, you're talking 50, 51 degrees. And by the time it's all said and done, we'll be there in the upper 40s. So that coat, high cocoa, everything on Friday will be needed. Saturday, Sunday, it still looks pretty chilly. And, you know, we may even have some patchy frost Saturday morning. There is a lot.
I can take care of that. I've got the weather clicker, so I think I can change that.
Just move it on.
You better be backing up to July.
No, let's just get used to it. Well, total mayhem broke out on The Price is Right yesterday.
In a rare three-way tie on the big wheel, 3 contestants spun different combinations of $1. Host Drew Carey said that he couldn't recall another time that 3 people consecutively landed on the coveted dollar. There was a spin-off which sent Manfred, who's a grandfather celebrating his 45th wedding anniversary, to the Showcase Showdown. And by the way, once there, he won a car and a cruise. So everybody was excited.
Manfred is so excited.
Well, I was going to say, how could you outdo him, huh?
What a big
Everybody
day.
Really excited.
Yeah, that was fun.
A lot of fun. What a great show, you know? What a great run
Always
it's had.
enduring, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, Stephen Colbert is getting ready for a big election night special. Also, the star of House is back with a dark new series.
And Phil Collins says he is not done with his career. Suzanne Marquez explains in your Eye on Entertainment.
Stephen Colbert will host a live election night special next month. The 1-hour show will air on Showtime. The Late Show host says it will include all the political comedy from his CBS show, with all the, quote, swearing and nudity you love from Showtime. The special wraps up Colbert's campaign coverage. He talked about the race with President Obama last night. Phil Collins says he's changed his mind about retiring. The British rocker announced a series of concerts next year, including a 5-night run in London. He says his family is all for it.
I'm living with my young kids, and they want me to go out on the road to do some new things.
These will be Collins' first live dates in about a decade.
A psychological thriller begins streaming this week, and the cast hit the red carpet here in Los Angeles.
Hugh Laurie and Gretchen Mol were on hand for the premiere of Chance.
I will not accept that this problem can cannot be solved.
It's the story of a forensic neuropsychiatrist who gets pulled into a dark world of corruption and mental illness.
He's a very vulnerable soul, and that was very, it was both scary and also exciting to be a part of this.
Chance premieres on Hulu Wednesday. And that's your Eye on Entertainment. Suzanne Marquez, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Okay, keep it here on Mid-Morning on WKYT on this beautiful fall day. Does your dog have a special skill or trick?
Find out how your four-legged friend can take part in the Canine Olympics next on WKYT. Tonight's Mega Millions jackpot is $20 million, and tomorrow's Powerball jackpot is $136 million.
Hey, it sure is good to have you with us here on WKYT with some special guests. Now, the Olympics are coming to the bluegrass, the four-legged kind, that is.
Oh, it's going to be fun. To tell us all about the Canine Olympics, we're joined by Beth Olson with the Woodford Humane Society, along with Marianne Ziegenfuse, the owner of Best Friends Obedience, and Benna, too. Yeah. Welcome to all of you.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate you very much. Tell us about the Canine Olympics. What's that all about?
Yeah, so this is one of our fundraiser events that we have every year. It's actually our longest running event. This will be our 34th year doing Canine Olympics. It's exactly what it sounds like. We have more than a dozen competitions that dogs can compete in, and it's everything from athletic events like races and agility and frisbee catching to just testing your dog's ability to eat anything. So there's a little bit of everything. Any dog can compete.
And I think Benna is ready to go.
She is ready.
As soon as you started talking, was just...
If she's going to do TV, she wanted a treat.
Yes, of course. Now, Marianne, you're the games judge for the Olympics. Tell us about some of the different events.
Well, we have everything from best dressed to the fastest dog to the best trick, and we have some agility. We'll have some agility equipment out there ready to go. And one thing that makes Benna very sad is that she can never compete in the best trick because, you know, I'm the judge, and she would just automatically win. But achoo, achoo. Excuse me.
Oh, my
thank you. What a good girl, as you can see.
Benna, you are way too smart. You would win everything.
Benna's going to take care of you, right?
Good girl.
Take care of you. Oh,
goodness.
That is wild. That is really great.
So,
Benna, you're perfect.
Is that an example of the kinds of different offbeat things
We
that will be there?
see so many different, like in the best trick competition, we see so many different things. You know, it's just anything your imagination and your dog can do together, we'll take in the best trick category.
So how can people participate and get some information about the different categories now?
Sure. There's a write-up of all of the events on woodfordhumane.org. The event is this Sunday, the 23rd, out at Falling Springs Park in Versailles. Registration opens at 12 and the games begin at 1. We'll run until about 5 o'clock. And there's no need to pre-register or anything. Just bring your dog and show up.
Show up and have fun
for everyone.
Yeah. So if people just want to come spectate, is that welcome?
Absolutely.
As well?
General admission is totally free. The only charge would be if you want to compete with your dog, and then it's $8 per dog per event.
I think Benna wants to show off and do some more tricks, and I'm sure she's got a lot of them. I'm sure she does.
Yeah. Too bad she's ineligible because it's a pretty good trick.
She would win.
Thanks for coming.
Sounds like a great event.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And we hope you'll stay on WKYT, and we will be right back.
Okay, do you want to drive your friends wild? Then try serving them the creamiest, cheesiest, and most flavorful whipped potatoes they've ever eaten. This will do it.
Okay, I didn't know I wanted wild friends, but today in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, it's Drive 'em Wild Potatoes.
If you love mashed potatoes, then put down the remote and pay close attention to what we're making today. I'm sure you probably have a bunch of different ways to make them, and I bet they're all good. But we just came up with a way that'll definitely drive your gang wild. We start off with a good amount of mashed potatoes, and those can be store-bought, homemade, or instant. To that, we add some shredded mozzarella cheese, sour cream, bacon bits, chives, and a touch of black pepper. This gets spooned into a baking dish before topping it with more mozzarella cheese. Then we'll pop this in the oven, and when the top is golden, it's done. What we end up with is the creamiest, cheesiest, and most flavorful whipped potatoes you've ever eaten. As a matter of fact, they're so good, we call them Drive-In Wild Potatoes. And like all of our recipes, you can find them online. And yes, they'll drive them wild. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a wild and crazy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. Drive them crazy? Wild?
Tasty.
All right, and now they're wild, I guess.
You would like that.
Yeah,
I know.
and it's one of those days that no matter what you cook, no matter whatever you make there for lunch, you can eat it outside. It is really, really nice right now. We're already at 75 degrees across the region in many locations, 85 by the afternoon, and that could be a record high. Our record high is at 87. We'll see if we'll actually top out at that. But then we head off towards your Wednesday. Wednesday is mostly dry. Here's what we can't do. We can't rule out a couple of rumbles of thunder, especially go 64 northbound. That's your best bet. Southern half, southeastern half, you guys are good to go. On Thursday, though, it looks like most everybody will start to see some rain move on in. We have a 70% chance of rain right now, but remember, it was 60% yesterday, and I believe as we get a little bit closer, confidence grows even more, and we'll bump that up to 100 when it's all said and done. That's just the way I'm leaning. So most everybody can expect some rain sometime Thursday, mainly deep into the evening and nighttime hours. We're going to go over that because there is a severe weather threat. It's not large, but it is there.
But hot chocolate days, too.
Oh, yeah, on Friday and Saturday.
Every season has its good parts. Thank you for being with us on Mid-Morning, and we'll see you at noon.
Have a great day, everybody.